जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यमुनातीरावनचारी। यमुनातीरा वनचारी। यमुनातीरा वनचारी। यमुनातीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Nittai Sachinandana, Nittai Sachinandana, Nittai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Jaya Nittai Sachinandana, Nittai Sachinandana, Nittai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So we'll start with the pranam mantras. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagalpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। ओम नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna once again to the Bhagavatam discussion. Today is very auspicious day also. Of course, Kartik month is very, very auspicious, and in Kartik month it is the appearance day of Radha Kund. In India, today is the appearance day, and as we all know, Radha Kund is the most auspicious abode and dearmost to Krishna, because it belongs to Radharani's Kund. So we can all pray to Srimati Radharani to give all the mercy and blessings so that we can be very dear to Lord Krishna. So we are reading from Canto 1, Chapter 13, verse 12. I will share the screen with that verse. Verse 2 of Chapter 13. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 1, Chapter 13, verse 2. Yavatah kritavan prashnan kshatta kaushāravagrata jataika bhaktir govinde tebhyaschopararamaha. यावतः कृतवान् प्रश्नान् क्षत्ता कौशारवाग्रतः जातैक भक्तिर्गोविन्दे तेभ्यश्चोपररामः। यावतः कृतवान् प्रश्नान् क्षत्ता कौशारवाग्रतः जातैक भक्तिर्गोविन्दे तेभ्यश्चोपररामः. Anyone would like to chant?
यावतः कृतवान् प्रश्नान् क्षत्ता कौसारवाग्रता जातैका भक्तिर्गोविन्दे तेभ्यश्चोपरारामः. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anybody else?
I can try, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Please.
Yavataha krutavan prasnan kshata kausara vagrataha jataika bhaktir govinde tebhyascha pararamaha. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
I can try.
Hare Krishna, please, Prabhu.
Yavata kritvan prashnan shata koshara agrataha jata eka bhaktir govinde devascha uttamaramaha.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So we will read the word by word meaning. Yavataha, all that. Kritavan, did he put. Prashnan, questions. Kshata, a name of Vidura. Kausharva, a name of Maitreya. Agrataha, in the presence of Jata, having grown up, Eka, one, Bhakti, transcendental loving service. Govinde, unto Lord Krishna, Tebhya, regarding further questions. Cha and Upararama, retired from Ha, in the past. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. After asking various questions and becoming established in the transcendental loving service of Lord Krishna, Vidura retired from putting questions to Maitreya Muni. Purport. Vidura retired from putting questions before Maitreya Muni when he was convinced by Maitreya Rishi that the summum bonum of life is to be finally situated in the transcendental loving service of Lord Sri Krishna, who is Govinda, or one who satisfies his devotees in all respects. The conditioned soul, the living being in material existence, seeks happiness by employing his senses in the modes of materialism, but that cannot give him satisfaction. He then searches after the supreme truth by the empiric, philosophic, speculative method and intellectual feats. But if he does not find the ultimate goal, he again goes down to material activities and engages himself in various philanthropic and altruistic works, which all fail to give him satisfaction. So neither fruitive activities nor dry philosophical speculation can give one satisfaction, because by nature a living being is the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and all the Vedic literatures give him direction towards that ultimate end. The Bhagavad Gita 15.15 confirms this statement. Like Vidura, an inquisitive conditioned soul must approach a bona fide spiritual master like Maitreya, and by intelligent inquiries must try to know everything about karma, fruitive activities, jnana, philosophical research for the supreme truth, and yoga, the linking process of spiritual realization. One who is not seriously inclined to put questions before a spiritual master need not accommodate a showboatil spiritual master, nor should a person who may be a spiritual master for others pose to be so if he is unable to engage his disciple ultimately in the transcendental loving service of Lord Sri Krishna. Vidura was successful in approaching such a spiritual master like Maitreya, and he got the ultimate goal of life, bhakti unto Govinda. Thus, there was nothing to be known further about spiritual progress. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this chapter is majorly about Dhritarashtra quits home, and as we know, Vidura is the person who became the cause for Dhritarashtra to quit home, leaving everything behind, all the so-called material assets. Even though he did not have anything after his sons were killed, he was living almost like a beggar. Later that's mentioned by Vidura. But of course, Pandavas were very kind towards Dhritarashtra. They were taking care of him as if he is their own father. However, now Vidura had to leave Hastinapura because of the kind of harassment from Duryodhana and parties. So he decided to quit home and he started pilgrimage. And in the previous verse, it is described that while traveling on pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from Maitreya Muni. He is very great. He is qualified to give the knowledge, and Vidura is qualified to receive the knowledge. So after that, he returned to Hastinapura. And it's also mentioned he became as well versed in the subject as he desired. So up to his satisfaction. So this verse is talking about that. Then Vidura had conversation which is coming up later in Bhagavatam. Many chapters, many cantos, multiple cantos. So Maitreya Muni instructed Vidura. And Vidura had many questions, as a good student will have. An inquisitive student will be asking many questions to the spiritual master. As Bhagavad Gita mentioned, the relationship between student and master, teacher. So tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, of course in a very humble mood, by serving the spiritual master, asking questions, pariprashnena. That way the spiritual master will provide all the required knowledge. So Vidura had questions, he asked many questions, and he received the proper answers, perfect questions and perfect answers. So thus he became established in the transcendental loving service. So that is ultimate aim. As we can see, Bhagavatam is teaching the same, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching the same. Ultimate aim of life is to become established in the transcendental loving service of Lord Krishna. It is not just about devotion, but it is all about devotional service. Srila Prabhupada very much emphasized that in his speech and also in his cultivation also, while he was establishing the activities for devotees. So he was very much emphasizing on the devotional service aspect, and that has to be loving service. It is not a forced service. So as we can see, the devotional process given by Prabhupada, which is coming through the disciplic succession, it is a very sweet process. Again, Bhagavad Gita also confirms that it is joyful, and anybody gets in connection with this process will feel like, yes, I would like to continue this voluntarily. So Prabhupada never forced, but he was giving this sweet devotional process. He made it more sweeter. He would say, you just need to chant and then dance and feast. That's it. That is bhakti. Of course, the knowledge part is also there, but along with the other part, knowledge acquiring becomes very natural, and having the purpose of this establishing the loving service of the Lord, the knowledge is actually supporting that. It is not dry philosophy, but it is very sweet philosophy in one sense. So Vidura was able to acquire that knowledge, and then thus he retired from putting further questions, because he understood everything. He is very clear, no doubts, and then he also became qualified. Then he returned to Hastinapura, and the only intention is to instruct Dhritarashtra. He did not want to come back to the materialistic way of life, or even to enjoy the palace, living in the palace, etc. He had that opportunity. Pandavas were very, very much welcoming, but he did not want to do that. But the only reason why he is coming back is to save Dhritarashtra from this greatest of illusion. So those verses are coming up. But in this verse, Srila Prabhupada is giving us his sweet instructions, as he always do. So he is mentioning that Vidura was convinced by Maitreya Rishi that the summum bonum of life is to be finally, he's using that word finally, because some people may not come to the transcendental loving service in the beginning. So finally situated in the transcendental loving service, even though somebody may be entering into a different way of approaching spiritual life. So Lord Krishna is Govinda, and one who satisfies his devotees in all respects. So Govinda's only aim or goal is to satisfy his devotees, and devotees' only aim is to satisfy Krishna. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. So the conditioned soul, Prabhupada is mentioning, the living being in material existence. So most of us, conditioned souls, by nature, the soul is seeking for happiness. But conditioned souls who are, who lost the real focus of life, so they seek happiness by trying to employ their own senses in the modes of materialism. But then they will never get the satisfaction. So that we can see, even our own lives, probably, we might have tried to get happiness by doing this activity, and we fail in that. In the beginning, maybe to some extent we get some happiness, then we fail, so we will try another way of doing the same thing, chewing. Srila Prabhupada say that. And then that also will not give us satisfaction. Then still we have hope. Okay, let me try the other one. The other person tried this. Maybe I'll try that, or maybe I'll try this. Now this business is going on. Then after a long time, intelligent persons will realize that this way of trying to achieve happiness is not a good idea. I'm not, getting anything out of it. So let me do the next level. Search after the supreme truth by empiric philosophic speculative method. Philosophic speculative method, that means trying to understand about the supreme truth. I know I'm not able to achieve satisfaction, so I'm sure something else is there which is controlling, or somebody else is controlling, not me. So let me try to understand by my own way of acquiring the knowledge, speculative method. And then after some time, even that is not going to help. But then, as Prabhupada mentioned, some people will leave that and come down to the material activities again. Because when they start doing this speculative method, they wanted to stop all the materialistic activities, thinking that my connection with the material modes is the problem. So let me just put a barrier, stop everything, and then just try to acquire knowledge. And when that is not giving satisfaction, some people, or majorly people, will come down to the materialistic activities, but in a little different way, as if I'm doing something great, some charity or some philanthropic activities, altruistic works, starting some school, as if I'm not doing anything for myself. I am simply serving the society. I'm giving opportunities for others to be educated. Again, educated on what? Which is not a concern, but or opening up some hospitals. I'm doing service for others. They are getting disease, so let them cure by making use of this facility. So I'm providing that, etc., etc. So people go ahead with such things, and then they will fail again in getting the satisfaction. After some time, that's also kind of routine and boring. So they will move from one activity to another, to another, to another. And then all these things are not helping. This is already mentioned in Bhagavad Gita and scriptures. Neither fruitive activities nor dry philosophical speculation can give satisfaction. Because living being is the eternal servitor of Krishna. And Krishna spoke that in 15th verse of 15th chapter. Vedaishcha sarvair ahameva vedyo vedanta krit vedavideva chaham. So sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha. So he mentions that I am giving all this knowledge, remembrance, forgetfulness, everything. And I am sitting in the hearts of every living entity, and I am the knower of Vedas. And the only purpose of studying Veda is to know me, nothing else. So that is ultimate level of acquiring knowledge. You know about Krishna. Again, many different verses of Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvata, etc. One who knows my divine appearance and activities in full will not have to come back to this material world again. Once they come back to my abode, they will never return. And Krishna spoke even that many times. So that is the ultimate purpose of human life. But of course, many living entities, they go through different paths, and then somehow, if they are fortunate enough, they will meet a pure devotee, and then they will come to the transcendental loving service. Vidura is in that platform. He was already a devotee, but he went for pilgrimage and he acquired, or he wanted to know more, and then he was well received by Maitreya Muni and he got the instructions. So Prabhupada mentions about this inquisitive nature, inquisitive conditioned soul, like Vidura. He is a very good example. Must approach a bona fide spiritual master, like Maitreya, who is genuine and who is authorized, and by intelligent inquiry. So intelligence must be utilized for this purpose. not to ask about something else, how to become better in materialistic way of life, how to become immortal in this material world, how to live forever in this material world. Those are not the intelligent inquiries. Even though many scientists and researchers are doing these things, they are asking these questions. How do I become immortal in this world? Even Hiranyakashipu, he started it. He also wanted to do that. But that is not the right way of utilizing the intelligence according to Bhagavatam. This is the way how to come out of this material world. Birth, death, old age, disease. That's what Prabhupada always keeps on telling that. That is the kind of inquiry we have to make. Why am I suffering? How can I stop death? But not to live in this world, but come out of this cycle of birth and death. So Prabhupada is giving this indication that yes, intelligent inquiries must try to know everything about karma, know about karma, fruitive activities, then jnana, philosophical research, and yoga, linking process. But one who is very intelligent will understand all these things, but take up the topmost, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also, bhaktya mam abhijanati, not through other methods, but bhaktya, only through devotional service, one can know me. Krishna spoke. But again, if somebody is not seriously inclined to ask these questions before the spiritual master, then for them that spiritual master is just a show body. They have a guru, I also have a guru. Just to show that I am a spiritualist, I have a guru, and again some other motivation. Similarly, a spiritual master, genuine spiritual master is not should not try to pose themselves as a great Acharya. I am a great spiritual master. I have so many followers. I am instructing them. Because of me, they are getting elevated. All these thoughts should not come to a genuine spiritual master. We can see this in the lives of all the Acharyas, Vaishnava Acharyas, all the Goswamis, and Srila Prabhupada also. They are very humble. They never claim that they know everything and they are making others, better devotees or something. They are claiming that they are instruments of Krishna, and whatever Krishna does, that is what going to happen. Please make me a puppet in your hand, dear Krishna. That's what Srila Prabhupada prayed also. So a genuine spiritual master is always humble and always trying to serve even their disciples. As we know, all these acharyas, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj and even Srila Prabhupada, they considered their disciples as the representative of their spiritual master. And then they were serving the disciples also. Of course, a guru serving a disciple looks a little different many times, but their mood was in service. They were not thinking, I have so much power over this disciple, so I can do whatever, nothing like that. And they never, these personalities, they never wanted any material gain from the disciple also. Recently, I heard this pastime of Srila Prabhupada when Tamal Krishna Maharaj and other devotees, they came back from book distribution, and then they were meeting Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur. So they were in Western world and they had so much of book distribution and Harinam party and all. And then they acquired so much of Lakshmi also. And they wanted to offer that to their spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, in Mayapur. So they were visiting his quarters and they were having some kirtans. After some time, Prabhupada entered the room and all of them paid obeisances. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj offered Prabhupada this garland of dollar notes, money. So this is acquired from the book distribution majorly. But Srila Prabhupada was not changing his mood. He was not excited to see so much of money coming or nothing like that. He was just calm, keeping cool mood, and he was discussing many different topics. Disciples were asking this and that. He was answering, etc. At the end, before he was leaving the room, he looked at the dollar bills and then immediately instructed his secretary that use this for such and such publication of book, and use this much for such and such whatever book distribution activities, or publishing the book, or maintaining, etc., etc., all for such purposes, very calmly, without getting attached even by a tinge. At the same time, utilizing the entire Lakshmi in Krishna's service. So that is the quality of a genuine spiritual master. They know where to place this and that, etc., depending on time, place, circumstance. Of course, he was utilizing this for building temple also sometimes, each time. So that is the genuine spiritual master, who is always humble and always realizing that they are Krishna's servants, and their whole purpose of life is serve. That's it. So Maitreya was such a genuine spiritual master, and Vidura was a very genuine qualified student, and they had very wonderful conversation. That is why that is being described in Srimad Bhagavatam, because that conversation was very much devotional and centered around Krishna, and many different topics, but everything was centered around Krishna, right from creation, how creation happened, and all those details were there, as we can see from the later cantos. Now Vidura was very much satisfied, and there was nothing to be known further about spiritual progress. So at that time he stopped asking questions, and then he wanted to serve Dhritarashtra and save him from his illusory world. So in this verse, we can see this word Govinda is used. Jataika Bhaktir Govinde. So loving service of Krishna, Lord Krishna, or bhakti unto Govinda. That is the ultimate goal of life. So throughout Bhagavatam and even Bhagavad Gita, we can see, even though Bhagavad Gita has 3 sections, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Bhakti Yoga, all 3 yogas, the emphasis is on Bhakti Yoga. And of course, the conclusive instructions, Sarvadharman Parityaja, and Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto, even the word Bhakti itself is used. So all these things are utilized, mentioning that the ultimate aim of life is Bhakti. And Bhakti cannot be contaminated by anything else. Ahaituki apratihata. It cannot be interrupted by anything. It cannot be stopped by anything. And anybody can execute Bhakti. There is nobody who is not qualified to execute Bhakti. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this very wonderful instruction. Yare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. Wherever you go, whoever you see, speak about Krishna. Anybody can take Krishna Bhakti, take up Krishna Bhakti. And Rupa Goswami's very famous celebrated verse, which is repeated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela also. The Anya Bhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktiruttama. So in that verse, Rupa Goswami is mentioning about the definition of Bhakti. And Srila Prabhupada repeated the same thing in this purport also. He's mentioning Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then above that is Bhakti Yoga. So Prabhupada is very clear about that, and he emphasized this aspect all the time. Recently I was hearing a lecture, short lecture from Prabhupada, and he was mentioning jokingly but seriously also that the Karma Yogi is a 3rd class rascal, and Jnana Yogi is 2nd class rascal, and Dhyana Yogi is 1st class rascal. But all of them are rascals. Only Bhakti Yogi is pure. So he always emphasized, and he had that courage to speak this in front of anybody and everybody. So in this Anya Bhilashita Shunyam verse, Srila Rupa Goswami spoke about the definition of Bhakti. So definition of Bhakti is devoid of all material desires, karma yoga or karma kanda principles, or devoid of all knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy and fruitive action. And it has to be completely pure without any material desire. The only desire is I want to achieve Krishna Prema. That is pure bhakti. So devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam, as Krishna desires. So following the instructions of Krishna, that is the basis of bhakti. Not following some instructions given by somebody, but following the instructions given by Krishna, either directly or through the representative, but the instruction is coming from Krishna. Dharmam tu sakshal bhagavat pranitam. So that dharma is given by Krishna, but it might come through his representatives also. So in that purport, Srila Prabhupada, of course, details about all these manmana bhavan bhakto verse, etc. But he's also talking about this anushilanam. What is anushilanam in that verse? So he mentioned that one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. Again, this is coming from Rupa Goswami's instruction only. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's instruction, evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu, etc. So without accepting a bona fide spiritual master who is coming in the disciplic succession, one cannot find out the real purpose of devotional service. So therefore, one has to accept the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and then follow the instructions given by him. So that is the ultimate aim. And Prabhupada is mentioning this is the meaning of word anukulyena. Of course, it has in-depth meaning, but this is one of the meaning, anukulyena. So following Krishna is one aspect, but Krishna is engaging his representatives in his service to spread his message. So if we have to understand Krishna's instruction and follow Krishna, we need to approach a bona fide spiritual master and satisfy him. Yasya prasadal bhagavat prasado. So that is called anukulyena. So that is the pure bhakti. Not just thinking about Krishna all the time like Kamsa or Shishupala did, but approaching and surrendering to a pure devotee of Krishna and following Krishna's instruction by following the instruction of that pure devotee. So that is Krishna Bhakti. Now, in another verse, which is from Canto 4, very, very nice verse, very wonderful practical instruction. Canto 4, chapter 29, 34th verse. So this verse, I'm just reading the translation. Here Narada Muni is speaking. He is talking to Prachina Barhi. So Narada Muni is mentioning that no one can counteract the effects of fruitive activity simply by manufacturing a different activity devoid of Krishna consciousness. So he is simply talking about what conditioned souls are doing. Usually, any fruitive activity, there could be some kind of happiness for some time to some degree, but then definitely there is an opposite of happiness. Some distress will be there. So then they have to counteract. So they will do another activity. That's what Narada Muni is speaking. Manufacturing a different activity, but that is devoid of Krishna consciousness. That is not possible. No one can counteract the effects of a fruitive activity by another fruitive activity which is devoid of Krishna consciousness. And Narada Muni is telling all such activity is due to ignorance. An example also given here, if there is a troublesome dream, we cannot relieve it with a troublesome hallucination. The only way to counteract a dream is by coming out of sleep, by awaking. Similarly, the material existence is like a dream, ignorance and illusion. Only we have to awaken to Krishna consciousness. That is our original consciousness. Then we can be relieved of such dreamy life of material life. And Narada Muni is also concluding, for the ultimate solution to all problems, we must awaken to Krishna consciousness. So in the purport, Prabhupada is very nicely mentioning that we can place the burden on the head or we can place it on the shoulder. So something like somebody is carrying a heavy luggage on the head. Of course, they have some materialistic motive. If I carry this from place A to place B, I'm going to get some money or something or something. So I know it is a burden, but I'm carrying because there is a fruitive result. But then after some time, the head is paining. So the person will think, the head is very paining. I have to do something else. So what should I do? I'll take that burden from the head, put that on the shoulder, because the aim is again fruitive result. I have to get that money or whatever I'm going to get. So let me move the burden from head to the shoulder, thinking that that will help. But again, after some time, shoulder will pain. Then he has to put that burden into somewhere else, or sometimes back to the head. So this will be rotated. So this is not going to help. That's what Narada Muni is telling, that moving the burden from one place to another place, or moving from one activity to another fruitive activity, is not going to help. The instructions: don't remain in the darkness of this material world, go to the light of the spiritual world. This is the only option. And there are many verses, of course, on this principle. And in Canto 5, Rishabhadev's instruction to his children, there are many verses. One of that verse is talking about same principle in a little different way. So Rishabhadev speaks like this: when a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, which is the aim of life for most of the conditioned souls, when that is the aim of life, then he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He doesn't know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body, which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. So we have forgotten that aspect. I have a body that itself is showing that I have done sinful activity, but we never think like that. Then he speaks, actually the living entity should not have taken on a material body. There was no need actually, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. So it is very, very clear that sense gratification means another material body. It is 100% guaranteed. Therefore, I think it not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. Again, same principle. Here, instead of mentioning one fruitive activity to another fruitive activity, even the entire life one ends just by going through the sense gratification. Next life will be another another material body, again going through different sufferings, and again switching from that material body to another. So life just rotates through this business. So that is not going to help. And then next verse, Rishabhadev speaks that as long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subjected to miseries arising from ignorance. Be it sinful or pious, karma has its resultant actions. So when one does nice karma, then also that person has to come back to this material world to enjoy the results. But enjoying anything in this material world is a dukhalayam, ashashvatam. So enjoying also means there is some suffering along with the enjoyment. There is no enjoyment without suffering in this material world. So as long as the mind is impure, consciousness is unclear, and as long as one is absorbed in fruitive activity, he has to accept a material body. So this is very, very clear that fruitive activity is going to get us another material body. And a material body is going to give us some other way of misery, suffering. So this is very, very clear. There is no doubt about this. From Bhagavatam, we can see this. Because of that, Rishabhadev, he gave very, very wonderful instruction later in that chapter 5, Canto 5, chapter 5. There is a set of verses 10 to 13, very, very nice set of verses. It is very important, practical, very much direct practical instructions to all of us actually. So I'll read it. I was inspired. Maybe I'll share it because it is a little bit longer. So sharing will help you to go through this. So Rishabhadev speaks, my sons, you should accept a highly elevated Paramahamsa, a spiritually advanced spiritual master. In this way, you should place your faith and love in me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You should detest sense gratification and tolerate the duality of pleasure and pain, which are like the seasonal changes of summer and winter. This is the same Krishna's instruction, Matra Sparshastu. Kaunteya, same instruction he is giving. Then he speaks, try to realize the miserable condition of living entities who are miserable even in the higher planetary systems, which is very important to know that, because many people wants to go to the higher planetary system thinking that I'll have only enjoyment there and immortality is there and no worries, so much of enjoyment, all kinds of facilities. But here it is clear that even in higher planetary systems, life is miserable. We can understand this from past times of Indra and other demigods also. They have miseries and anxiety. Now, philosophically, inquire about the truth. So, utilize the life for this purpose. Then undergo all kinds of austerities and penances for the sake of devotional service, which is very important. Again, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, there are austerities in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, but don't do austerities in the mode of passion and ignorance, but execute austerities and penances for the sake of devotional service only, which is very important. Now, the activity may change in the different ways of different ages. In Kali Yuga, the austerities may be way different than austerities prescribed in Satya Yuga. So he's telling, give up the endeavor for sense enjoyment and engage in the service of the Lord. Listen to discussions about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always associate with devotees. Chant about and glorify the Supreme Lord and look upon everyone equally on the spiritual platform. Very, very important instruction. Look upon everyone equally on the spiritual platform. It is a gradual progress, of course. And these are favorable situations to executing devotional service. Give up enmity and subdue anger and lamentation. This is very, very important because these are the obstacles in the path of devotional service. And he mentions that abandon identifying the self with the body and the home and practice reading the revealed scriptures. Now, Vidura has come back exactly to instruct this to Dhritarashtra. Now he doesn't have any home, etc. But still he thinks I am part of this palace and I am still the king, etc. So abandon that. Then live in a secluded place and practice the process by which you can completely control your life, air, mind, and senses. Have full faith in the revealed scriptures, the Vedic literatures, and always observe celibacy. Now, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that celibacy means little different from Brahmachari, complete celibacy, for Grihasthas, only connection with their own wives, etc. So that relaxations are also given by Acharyas. Then finally he speaks, perform your prescribed duties and avoid unnecessary talks. Again, which is Prajalpa. Always thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Acquire knowledge from the right source, as Vidura did exactly, acquired knowledge from Maitreya. Thus, practicing Bhakti Yoga, you will patiently and enthusiastically be elevated in knowledge and will be able to give up the false ego. So this indicates that it is a long process. It is not so easy, but it is not very difficult also. It is a gradual process. Patiently and enthusiastically. That means the result may not come all of a sudden. So we have to have patience. At the same time, we have to be enthusiastic so that we can continue to execute. And that thus we will be elevated in knowledge and will be able to give up the false ego, which is our greatest enemy, or the last thing to leave us is the false ego. If we do not have false ego, then life is much, much, much simpler. So this is the instruction given by Rishabhadev also. And the same instruction Prabhupada is repeating in this today's purport. Now, finally, I would like to touch upon Nectar of Instruction, verse 10, wherein the same kind of principle is given, but also since it is the appearance day of Radha Kund, uh, I was inspired to glorify this verse by Srila Rupa Goswami. So in this verse, it is described that in the Shastra, it is said that of all types of fruity workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by Supreme Lord Hari. Now, out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, jnanis, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. So we have verses from Bhagavad Gita talking about Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gyanavan Mam Prapadyate. So the jnani might pass through many lives trying to acquire knowledge by speculative knowledge process, but then finally he will realize that devotional service is the only remedy, and that those liberated devotees are very dear to Supreme Lord, and he is superior to the others. This devotee who comes to devotional service is very much superior to other jnanis and karmis. However, one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. So one who has taken up devotional service is at one level, but somebody who already took up devotional service, went through the process for some time, and then achieved the stage of prema after going through all the anartha nivritti and later asakti and bhava prema, he is very superior, very dear to Krishna. Now this verse is talking glorifying Radharani, but Rupa Goswami is coming from that lower level to a progressive level to the gopis. Gopis are exalted. They have achieved prema, and they are advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. They don't care about themselves. They are always thinking about Krishna's pleasure, how to please Krishna. So if Radharani is able to give more pleasure to Krishna, they want that to happen. They will leave. They will let Radharani enjoy with Krishna, giving up their desire to enjoy with Krishna. And then Radharani, what she does, she will engage the gopis in service to Krishna also. And amongst the gopis, Radharani is most dear to Krishna, as we know. And then Rupa Goswami is coming to her Radha Kund. Her Kunda lake is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis. Who then will not reside at Radha Kunda and in a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, aprakrita bhava, render loving service to the divine couple Sri Radha Govinda, who perform their Ashtakaliya Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. And finally he speaks, indeed those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radha Kunda are the most fortunate people in the universe. Now previous verse is glorifying the Radha Kunda. Of course, Rupa Goswami speaks about Mathura, and better than Mathura is Vrindavan, and better than Vrindavan or within Vrindavan, Govardhan is topmost, and Radha Kund is the ultimate of everything. And then Rupa Goswami suddenly speaks about these fruity workers and jnanis and all those people, just to glorify that the purest devotee of Krishna, Srimati Radharani and her Kunda Radha Kunda, are the topmost abodes, and whoever is desiring to live at Radha Kunda are the most fortunate people in the universe. So to glorify the topmost devotees of Krishna, Rupa Goswami is comparing them with this karmis, jnanis and yogis. As Srila Prabhupada mentioned, they are rascals, lovingly, compassionately Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that, because pure devotees are way different and at a very completely different level compared to this karmis and jnanis, etc. And then of course we know the last verse of Nectar of Instruction, verse 11, again Rupa Goswami is mentioning, undoubtedly Radha Kunda is very rarely attained even by the great devotees. Therefore it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. So it's not easy to attain Radha Kunda. it is very, very, we have to have a bona fide spiritual master. First of all, this is just a beginning. Then we have to follow very strictly the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master. And then by their mercy, Yasya prasadal bhagavat prasado, Krishna's mercy will be there. We can achieve Krishna's mercy. And then we have to go through all this purificatory process to achieve Radha Kunda. Of course, we can visit Radha Kunda, but Prabhupada usually says it is not as easy as buying a ticket in train or flight and going to Vrindavan or going to Radha Kunda and say that, yes, I am also at Radha Kunda, I am able to sit in Radha Kunda. And that is not the right way of attaining Radha Kunda. We know Raghunath Das Goswami and all these great devotees, Mother Janhava and all, they are qualified devotees who achieve Radha Kunda by their loving service to their spiritual master and Krishna. So if one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused. But then that has to be done by the instruction, or we have to get permission from spiritual master to do such activities, which are very, very, it's not like simply taking bath in some ponds. Radha Kund is very, very pure. This is Radharani only, non-different than Radharani. And I don't have any realization even to speak about these things, but just for my purification, I am just repeating the words of Rupa Goswami. Only thing what I know is I'm not at all qualified to achieve Radha Kunda. I am still a sadhaka. But by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at least we have the opportunity. That opportunity is given, and all we can do is, as Rupa Goswami mentioned, Anukulyana Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Ruttama, which was expanded by Acharyas, including Srila Prabhupada, mentioning that Anukulyana means taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master who is very, very kind and compassionate to accept our ignorance and then give us the chance to purify ourselves. And on this auspicious day of appearance of Radha Kund, I would like to offer that same prayer that please engage me in the service of the spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada, so that I also can purify myself and achieve the Krishna Prema, achieve Radha Kunda in the proper way, and realize the or realize or relish the sweetness of Krishna Prema. And so today's verse is giving us that indication that the sweetness is there in the direct, loving, transcendental service to Lord Krishna, not in this Karmakanda or Jnana path, or even the Dhyana path. As Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajato yemam same yuktatamo matah. So Bhakti Yoga is the topmost, and even in Bhakti Yoga, becoming the servant of Radharani is the topmost situation. And I'll repeat these words and then end. So as we know, to achieve Krishna, the best way to achieve Krishna is take shelter of Srimati Radharani. But that is also not easy, as mentioned here. To achieve Radharani's attention, it is prescribed that we take shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he is combination of Radha and Krishna, Krishna in the mood of Radharani. Now to achieve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the easiest method is to achieve that lotus feet of, or take shelter of Lord Nityananda Ram. And to attain the mercy, achieve the mercy of Nityananda Ram, the best possible methodology prescribed is trying to approach Jagais and Madhais. That means trying to spread this message within our capacity to other people who are also suffering in this material world, thinking that I'll get pleasure in this way, that way. So trying to spread this in whatever little ways, then we can achieve the mercy of Nityananda Ram. So, and that is what Srila Prabhupada is given to us. This is a preaching movement, but first try to purify ourselves, and while trying to spread this message to others within our capacity also. So we can all try to follow that instruction and achieve the mercy of Srimati Radharani and Krishna. So thank you very much. I will stop here and see if you have any additions or share your realizations on this topic. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prem Vardhana Prabhu. Another wonderful, enlightening lecture, very expansive, exploring many topics. Would devotees like to ask questions, comments, clarifications? Please speak. Appreciation is also very nice.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanyavad Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavad Pranam. Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you so much for another wonderful lecture, Prabhu. So you very nicely, actually, you brought back the background of this verse very nicely, and also I like the way you explained about the how a conditioned soul in this material world, how it entangles in the fruitive activity and also philanthropic work, extending its existence in the material world, birth after the birth, birth after the birth. And you have brought the references from Srimad Bhagavatam, very beautiful verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, also Bhagavad Gita, and also the solution, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhaktyo, that verse you brought up, and very nice to hear, Prabhu. And also you have very beautifully explained how we have to inquire take shelter and inquire from a bona fide spiritual master in a submissive mode, so that in that way we can actually come out of this existence of material world. Very nice, Prabhu. And also I like the part, the Rishabhadeva, Lord Rishabhadeva's instructions to his sons, right? Very, very beautiful paragraph. That was really inspiring, and there are so many instructions to take from that paragraph, Prabhu. And finally, also, you have brought up the nectar of instructions verses, which actually added beauty to your lecture, Prabhu. Thank you so much for enlightening with so many instructions from Srimad Bhagavad Gita and also Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhu. With your kind permission, I want to share something, Prabhu, if you are able.
Yes, please, Mataji.
Yeah, so the most, the point where I was actually touching point for me in this verse is, Prabhu, because see, the translation is saying that after asking various questions and becoming established in the transcendental loving service of the Lord Krishna, Vidura retired from putting questions to Maitreya. That means that he is completely, when he actually understood the concept of, the Jnana and maybe the Vijnana of Krishna, so he is situated in the transcendental loving service of Krishna. His heart is completely satisfied. When we get the complete knowledge of Krishna, then our heart is satisfied, and we won't be having any further questions in that. And that one is actually touching my heart. And the last sentence in the purport, Prabhu. So in the last sentence of the purport is saying that Vidura was successful in approaching such a spiritual master like Maitreya, and he got the ultimate goal of life, Bhakti unto Govinda. How he's so fortunate. Thus there was nothing to be known further about spiritual progress. So when we know about Krishna and Bhakti unto Govinda, then there will be no further thing to know about. And this reminded me immediately the verse from Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji. Can I share my screen, Prabhuji? I just want to show.
Yes. Yeah.
One verse from Bhagavad Gita, which is so beautiful. It is from 7.2. The same thing is exactly said by Krishna by himself, that Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyasya myaseshataha yajnatva neha bhuyonya jnatavyam avisishyate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal, extraordinary, and numinous divine knowledge. Thus being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. So Krishna himself is saying that when we know about him, the Jnana and Vijnana, then nothing.
Yeah, very nicely explained, referred that is. Thank you so much, Mataji. And you also summarized everything, and you are blessed by your spiritual master to have this Radha Kunda name. So you are the servant of Radha Kunda. So please pray for us also to become.
Please bless me, Prabhuji, that one day
servant of Radha Kunda. Yeah.
Please keep in your prayers and please bless me, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Even
you,
though,
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Jason Chachinan Prabhu always says, even though you're in India, you are able to serve us like this, Prabhu, and you're able to give your association. So we are so grateful, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam,
Krishna, Prabhu.
all
Dandavat
Vishnu
Pranam.
Srila Prabhupada. Again, thank you very much, and thank you very much to Radhakund Mataji as well to actually summarize it and aptly bringing in that quote from Bhagavad Gita, that sloka from Bhagavad Gita. I think after 3 months or so, I believe I'm joining the Sunday morning lectures, and this is like a very good summary of the entire knowledge that I learned in the last couple of years of my association Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much for actually giving us this nectar on this beautiful day. Thank you. Thank you
very much, Prabhu. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. He is helping us to relish these things.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I just wanted to, similar to Radhakant Prabhu, I was also gone for quite some time and I'm back and I felt very, already very enlightened. Starting my day with today's your lecture and yes, Prabhu, it was very nice, very enlightening, and thank you for touching on all the important topics and very relevant topics, and finally ending with the glories of Radhakund. And yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji, for always inspiring by your participation and other services. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful classes. And Prabhu, same thing. I loved the main thing which struck with me was how the end all, be all of all the instructions and realization is to be situated in transcendental service of Krishna. Seva, right, Prabhu? So then you explained that you touched many aspects of that particular point. Thank you so much for sharing, and as everyone mentioned, and you can broken record. Thank you for talking about and sharing a little bit about Sri Radhakund on the auspicious appearance day of Krishna's and Radharani's favorite spot of pastime. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Prabhu, for repeating the instructions for my remembrance also. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, if I may ask a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. You said it should be devotional service, not devotion, right? The whole idea is to. So when I understand devotional service, you mean chanting and doing prayers to the Lord. What else constitutes devotional service when you said devotional service?
Thank you for that question. So it's not that we are not looking for devotion, not like that. It is not just devotion. Maybe I have to recorrect the sentence. It is not just devotion, but we wanted to do devotional service. That's what Prabhupada taught us. And what is devotional service is given by Prahlad Maharaj in Bhagavatam. There are 9 processes of the activities. That's what Prabhupada emphasized. Don't just think in the mind that yes, I am a devotee, I am spiritual. That is not enough, but we have to act based on the devotion. That is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So hearing Krishna Katha, chanting the holy name, thinking about Krishna, that's also devotional service. So it is not just the devotion, but we are acting based on the devotion which we have. And that is what Prabhupada is emphasizing, and I wanted to convey that one. So all these processes in that verse is devotional activities, and that's what we are doing exactly. If we see, all the processes will come within that 9 activities, as you mentioned now, chanting and other activities.
Got it, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So thank you. Very nice I like how the devotees summarized the lecture. That's a sign of intelligence to be able to summarize lecture, and also a sign of intelligence to ask meaningful questions. So thank you very much. I hope you and your family are doing well.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu, by the mercy of devotees and Krishna, we are able to be engaged, and hope all of you are doing fine also. I can see.
We're hanging in there. It was interesting that you showed the recitation for what Rishabdev told his children. It was interesting. Guru Maharaj said that in the 1970s, the ISKCON Vrindavan Gurukuli boys would come out in the mid-morning and like be on the second floor and chant those verses from memory by heart. And he said it was transcendental to hear these little children, just like Shadev's children speaking these verses loudly in their voices. But I was just remembering that when you showed these instructions. I think the really nice thing about this verse is, although the battle of Kurukshetra was going on, and most people would be wondering, what happened, what's going on, who won, they were totally neglected that and focused purely on hearing about the glories of Krishna. And that way, Srila Prabhupada talks about that in Canto 3, where he says that historical events and narrations about social or political incidents become transcendental as soon as they become in relationship with Krishna. It's the way to transform material things into spiritual identity. So I think this is really wonderful how Vidur, even though he had such great commitment for what was happening in Hastinapur and in the kingdom, as shown by his affection for Dhritarashtra and the Pandavas, yet he still focused on the essential purpose of life nicely.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Very nice point, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. With all the difficulties in the world, the general tendency is to find external means of peace. I think one of the instructions from the Buddhist pastime is there's no external peace without internal peace. Also connection. So, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for adding those realizations and mentioning the Gurukula disciples chanting those words. Nice to know that. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing verses. It would be nice to imbibe even 1% of those verses. So,
yeah.
Please convey our affection and remembrance to your wonderful wife.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu, and our obeisances to our family also. Hare Krishna, Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Srinitay Sachinandan Dev ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Very wonderful lecture. Morning, it is very good to all of us. Krishna mercy is there. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Where in India are you staying, Prabhuji?
I'm in Bangalore.
Oh, Bangalore. Okay, where in Bangalore?
Near Hennur.
Hennur, okay. Very nice. Is it because of the job shift to move?
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Would you be coming back to the US, Prabhuji? Or?
We don't know. It's in Krishna's hands.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone. Once again.